Hello and welcome everybody to the first OTJ draft of Road to Rank 1. As you can see, I basically fully reset here, Platinum Tier 4, and we are about to get started. I'm really excited because I couldn't play the Early Access event because I was away on vacation, and now I will be doing my first draft. Now, of course, I did do my set reviews, so I do recommend checking that out. I actually have a link to all my set reviews in the description below, along with all of my card rankings in a Google Sheet if you wanted a little help to get you started. Now, before I start, just a couple of things. Number one, as I am recording this, I am looking at 19,999 subs. So, by the time this video goes out, assuming everything goes according to plan, I will hit 20,000 subs. And I do want to thank you for tuning in and watching these videos. When I first started, I had a few thousand subs just from my videos from 7 years ago. And the fact that I've gotten to 20,000 in just a couple of months is incredible. And again, I want to thank all of you for allowing me to continue doing this because this is awesome, right? This is the dream, being able to produce limited content, play Magic, and somehow convince my family that this is something that I can do for a living is incredible. So again, thank you all. Really do appreciate all of your support on helping me get to 20,000 subs. That's amazing. Now, if you wanted to support this channel in another way, I did launch my Patreon channel. The link to the Patreon is in the description below. Shout out to all the current subs. Really do appreciate all of your support. It really just allows me to continue doing the work that I do. I will be posting lots and lots of limited stuff on the Discord as well. So that's going to be something that's really exciting. All my trophy picks, card discussions, etc., etc. But without further ado, it's time for some OTJ Limited. Premier Draft, let's do it. All right, what am I excited to do? Well, to be honest, I'm kind of excited to do everything. But I do know that the rares are completely ridiculous. So let us see what we can draft here. 2 rare pack, Wily Duke, Atian Hero, 3 mana, 4/2 Vigilance. When Wily Duke becomes tapped, you gain a life and draw a card. This card is excellent with mount cards, so that's definitely something I'm looking at. We have Prairie Dog, which is a 2 mana, 2/2 life-linking creature. At the beginning of your end step, if you haven't cast a spell from your hand this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Prairie Dog. 5 mana until end of turn. If you would put 1 or more counters on a creature you control, put that many +1 instead. So that is a very, very good card. Resilient Roadrunner is a decent beater. Skewer to Critics is a decent removal spell. Trash to Town is also quite a good uncommon. I think Prairie Dog is likely the best of the uncommon effects here. So the question is whether or not I want to take a Prairie Dog, which is a single color card, over Wily Duke, which is a card that can be quite nice in the green-white mount deck. I think I'm going to first pick Prairie Dog because I think this card is fantastic. I think this is a B-level card in a single color, which means there's a higher likelihood that I can play this in all my decks. One deck that I really want to try is the blue-white deck that just passes every turn, because when you do, you get the trigger here from the Prairie Dog. All right, moving on to this pack. The rare was taken. We have lots of uncommons. Nurturing Pixie is just an okay creature. I don't have this very highly. I think I have this as a C-level card. It's a decent creature. 1/1 flyer, ETB, bounce something. Sheriff of Safe Passage is okay, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I do really like Rambling Possum. 3 mana, 3/3. When it attacks while saddled, it gets +1/+2 until end of turn, and you can bounce any number of things that saddled it. There's Hypothesizzle, which is a decent removal spell. Cactus Folk Sure Shot, which is an incredible uncommon, but it's off. It's not the colors that I want to be with the Prairie Dog that I have here. So I'm looking at Holy Cow just to stay on color with Prairie Dog, or Rambling Possum. I'm going to go with the Holy Cow. I think Rambling Possum is a pretty solid beater, but I kind of want to try right now we're in the phase of trying archetypes, and I really do want to try the blue-white kind of controlling pass for the turn type of strategy. And I think Holy Cow goes really, really well with the Prairie Dog because you can pass, then you'll have a 3/3 lifelinker, and then you play Holy Cow, which I think is really good. Moving on to this pack, we have lots of great cards. Phantom Interference is an amazing counterspell. I do really like this spell rather. Prickly Pear is probably the best red common, so this is also a very good card. Giant Beaver is okay. 4 mana, 4/4 Vigilance, saddle. It's a 4/4. Intimidation Campaign and Hollow Marauder are really good in kind of controlling style decks. But I'm really looking at Buried in the Garden or Canyon Crab. Canyon Crab goes really, really well with the draw go strategy. But I think Buried in the Garden's probably just too good. I do love Prairie Dog. Holy Cow is fine, but I think I just have to take Buried in the Garden. I think this is just too good of a removal spell, given that we're already white. If I wanted to be blue-white, I would take the Canyon Crab, because it goes really well with the strategy. But we know, I mean, if you play the previous set, we know how good Buried in the Garden is. It's possible that blue might not be super open, so let's just read the signals here and move on. Obviously, if we wanted to be green-white, we would rather have taken the rare first pick, and then second pick maybe taken the Badger, but it's okay. We're still just trying to figure out what's good. Moving on to this pack, we have Badlands Revival, which is really, really good in a kind of more of a dedicated mill strategy. Sheriff of Safe Passage is, again, I think it's just okay. I do really like the Freestyle Commando. It's a 3-mana 3/3, but you can also plot it, which does go well with the Prairie Dog. And it comes into play later as something that's larger. So I think I'm going to take that over Betrayer at the Vault. The reason why I don't like Betrayer at the Vault is I think it's a decent removal spell, but it's just really expensive. So I care about just shoring up the lower end of my mana curve first with cards like the Free Strider Commando. The reason why I really love this card is the fact that, like I said, you can play this turn 3 as just a solid beater, but you can also play it turn 4, right? You can play it turn 4, plot it, and then all of a sudden you have a 5/5. Moving on to this pack, we have a couple of good options. We have Hard Bristle Bandit, which I do think is one of the best commons in the set, because it's commons in green rather, just because in green, there's a lot of really good expensive cards. Cards like the Spinewoods Paladin, where I think it's more important to pick up copies of the Hard Bristle Bandit over the Paladin because green has so much meat. So I'm going to take the Hard Bristle Bandit, but noting that there's a lot of other good cards. I really like Rictus Robber as well. If you plot this and kill something, and then you play this, you get a 4/3 and a 2/2. That is incredible. But I think right now, I'm just going to try to... Look, it's day one. Everything's going to be open, right? Everything's going to be open. So it's just not going to be clear what... There's not really... Like, signals are not really as much of a thing. It does feel like green and white are available. So I'm just going to keep taking the green and white cards and just see where things go. Bounding Felidar, I have said that I don't like this card. 6 mana for a 4/7 with an effect that only happens when you attack on the following turn. I just don't think is good enough. Removal is too strong in this format. So I don't like the Felidar, but I do like Spinewoods Armadillo. 6 mana for a 7/7, reach, ward 3. 2 mana, discard this to get a basic land or a desert, reveal it, and gain 3 life. I think this card is fantastic. And now, with Spinewoods Armadillo and Buried in the Garden, we are setting ourselves up nicely for a potential splash, because by just playing one land of another color, we have access to 3 mana sources, right? So that is awesome. So we're setting ourselves up for a green-white deck potentially with a splash. Here I'm going to take another Free Strider Commando. I do think it's better than Inventive Wingsmith. I think Wingsmith is better in maybe like a blue-white deck that has more flash creatures and things to do in end of turn, but I prefer just having the nice beatdown card here in the Freestyle Commando. This also works well with the Hard Bristle Bandit, because turn 3 you can just plot this, and then turn 4 you can have a 5/5, which is pretty great. Moving on here, pick 8. Wow, Rambling Possum. I mean, look, we only have 2/2 drops, so I'm still happy with the Prairie Dog, but I kind of wish I had the Wily Duke. That would have been nice. Although I don't have any mount cards. This will be the first mount card. I'm going to take the Rambling Possum here. Let's see. What can we bounce that's sweet? We can bounce Holy Cow for gain 2, scry 1. Trained Errangs is also really nice, but I think a 3 mana 3/3 that attacks as a 4/5 with more for ETB upside is probably better than the Trained Errangs. But I'm not sure there. I am not 100% there. So let me know what you think about that pick with the Rambling Possum over the Trained Errangs. I do need 2s. Here we have Outlaw Medic. Oh, Loan Shark as well. I do like Loan Shark. Not seeing a ton of white, to be honest. But we have the choice between Outlaw Medic and Voracious Varmint. I'm going to take the Varmint. I think the first copy of Varmint is likely very good. White has a lot of enchantment-based removal. Outlaw Medic is fine. I do think green-white is a little bit more aggressively slanted. So I do think I like the 2/2 Vigilance Body instead over the 1/3 Lifelinker. And look, the Rambling Possum tabled. Abraded Bluffs is a consideration, but I think this is just a solid creature that I'm going to play. So let's go ahead and take the Possum. And now we're good on 3s here. Good on 3s. White, not that open. taking a look here at blue. I don't actually remember what blue-green was supposed to do. Do I want Phantom Interference or Canyon Crab? Huh. I guess I'll take the Crab. In case blue just ends up being super open, I'll take Gin of Fool's Fall over Peerless Ropemaster. I just don't think Peerless Ropemaster is especially good because there are going to be a lot of instances. Let's say you're ahead on board, then your opponents are just not going to have tapped creatures. Then, you know, you're going to have a Peerless Ropemaster that you kind of have to play if it's the only 5-mana card in your hand. And if that's the case, do you really want to play a 5-mana 4/4? So I think there's enough instances where that's going to be a 5-mana 4/4 where you just don't want to play that card in your deck. All right, so I think we still want to be green and white. We're going to have tons and tons of playables. This is, again, draft 1 of the format. A lot of people are still trying to figure out what's good or what's bad. So I think people are just going to take unplayable cards, for example, and see how things go. All right, moving on to us. Let's look at the green and white card. Spinewood's Paladin is a very, very powerful beatdown creature. We have some ramp, so I think this is a nice card to have. On turn 4, you plot this, and then you play this as a 5/4 Trampler, which is great. But I want to try this card. Fortune, Loyal Steed. Green and white is the mount color combination. 3 mana, 2/4. When Fortune enters a battlefield, scry 2, which is just fine. And then when it attacks while saddled, at end of combat, you can exile it and up to 1 creature that's saddled at this turn, then return those cards onto the battlefield. So what that means is, after this deals combat damage, you can actually blink this card and scry 2 again. So I think that's really cool. And I'm going to look at some potential other green and white enter the battlefield effects, because I think with Fortune and the 2 copies of Rambling Possum, I think there's a lot of space to get some value here with the green and white stuff. All right, moving on, we have, what is this? Rustler Rampage. Now, this is a combat trick I'm not as high on, so I'm not looking at that necessarily. Steer Clear is interesting, especially because we have 3 mounts already. But I think given that this is definitely a day 1 pick, but given that we're going to have lots and lots of playables, it's going to be Steer Clear or Creosote Heath. I'm just going to take the Heath. I'm just going to take the on-colored dual land that's a desert, just because I'm not concerned about the number of playables. I'm not taking this over like a premium common necessarily. So I'm going to take this here because it's just good for my mana fixing. Right? It's just a great card to have for my mana fixing. It allows me to commit a crime. It makes it so that Hardbristle Bandit, the Creosote Heath, basically comes into play untapped, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I'm going to take this here. Moving on, we have a much more interesting pack. We have Beastbond Outcaster. This enters a battlefield. When it enters a battlefield, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. So this doesn't take that much work to set up. We have a Spinewoods Armadillo, 2 copies of Free Strider Commando. So this is something you plot on turn 2, that at some point later in the game, it can also draw you a card. So I think I'm going to take that. There's a Betrayal at the Ball. There's also Throw from the Saddle, which I do think is very, very good. And honestly, there's a very good chance that that should be the card that we take. But I want to take this interesting uncommon instead. I think Throw from the Saddle, we all know how good Throw from the Saddle is. Did it add a +1/+1 counter? I actually forgot. But we all know how good that card is, but I'm more interested in trying out some of these uncommons here first and seeing how things go. Moving on here, we have, let's see. Yeah, we have lots and lots of creatures, don't we? And we have 2 spells. Okay. We have Betrayal at the Vault, which is a pretty cool fight spell. There is a Repulse, but I don't really care about splashing Repulse. And there's also Take Up the Shield, which is just a really good combat trick. I think I'm just going to take up the shield as another really good combat. This was a premium combat trick in the past, and especially when we're mounting things, I think the second copy of Take Up the Shield is still very, very nice. So I'm going to take it here and see where things go. Actually, I'm going to still use this view because right now I think it's important for us to figure out, just read the cards a little bit better. Here we have Miriam, Herd Whisperer. As long as it's your turn, mounts and vehicles you control have hexproof. Whenever a mount or vehicle you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Hey, we're green and white. We need 2s. There's a lot of great cards here. There's Trash to Town. There's Outcaster Greenblade, which gets us a desert. We already have one desert, but I feel like given that I'm green-white, and we need some 2s, I'm going to take the Miriam and try to focus on all the mount stuff just to see how good it is. Moving on, we have a pretty weak pack. We have Sterling Supplier, which is an okay top-end card, but not that interesting. You know what? Because it's not that it's a close card, I'm gonna take Reach for the Sky just to see how good this combat trick is. So this is a 4-mana 3/2 flash creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+2 in Reach, but when Reach for the Sky is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. I think this card is awesome if you're looking to be aggressive. So I'm gonna try this in this deck and just see how it plays out. This Town Ain't Big Enough is a very, very good combat trick. Not good enough for me to consider splashing, I don't think, but it's something to think about. I do like Openport Vigilante. This has double strike as long as you've committed a crime. The question is, how good is green-white at committing crimes, right? You're kind of a creature deck. So are you really committing crimes that often? I'm going to take it as a 2-drop with upside, but there's a decent chance this does not make my deck. You know what's going to make my deck, though? Intrepid Stable Master. This is a 2-mana 2/2 Reach creature that taps to add mana, and then taps to add 2 mana of any color to cast a mount or vehicle spell. So this goes really well with cards like the Giant Beaver. So I'm going to take this here and see if we can pick up some sweet mounts in our green-white deck. Moving on, we're pretty good on 2s. Drover Grizzly is a pretty weak mount creature. I'm going to take the Spinewoods Paladin here. We have a couple of mana ramp creatures in the Hardbristle Bandit and the Intrepid Stable Master. So I do think turn 2 mana ramp creature into turn 3 Spinewoods Paladin is very strong. So I'm going to take that over the Drover Grizzly. And then moving on here, we have kind of a blank of a pack. I'll take the Oasis Gardener in case I'm going to need it for mana fixing for another color. Unlikely to play it. I don't think this deck needs the Outlaw Medic. I will take Betrayal at the Vault. I might try it out for Science, just to see how good this effect is. Here we'll take a Sterling Keykeeper, but unlikely to play that card. Man, day 1, you just end up with so many playable cards. Here we'll take a... Look, we have 22 playable cards! We have 22 playable cards after pack 2 rather. So, just only premium cards only now moving forward. All right, Indomitable Creativity is not a card that we want. Pest Control is more of a constructed card, certainly something that I'm not interested in taking. Fibblethip is really cool, but double blue means we can't really splash for it. It's a slow way to get card advantage over time. Given that I have 2 copies of Take Up the Shield, I do think Snakeskin Veil is a little bit less exciting. I don't really care that much about Cactarantula. I already have some big things. Is it a Steer Clear? I'm not milling myself, so I feel like Badlands Revival is not quite as good. Yeah, I'll take a Steer Clear. I feel like I just need a trick right now. And Steer Clear with the mounts that we have can be really good as a one-of. So I'll take it here. I need to start putting some stuff in my sideboard, though. Maybe the Varmint can go in the sideboard. Maybe Holy Cow is not as good. I might want to just keep all the mount cards, just because I have, I just have things that are good with mounts. Wow, Outlaw Stitcher is fantastic. Is this worth splashing? I'm not sure. I just feel like maybe I can just stay 2 colors. Like, so this is a 4-mana 1/4. When you plot it, when it enters a battlefield, you make a 2/2 zombie token. For every extra spell that you cast, you get an extra 2 counters on it. So when you splash this card, and let's say you plot it or whatever, and you play one other spell, it's a 1/4 and a 4/4. That can potentially be bigger. But you know what? I'm just going to take the Beaver here, just as another mount card. I just want to lean into the mount effects and just see how good that can be. So we have Beaver, the Grizzly, Fortune, and Double Possum. So I just want to lean into that and see what happens. Here we have Throw from the Saddle. Excellent, excellent removal spell. Gonna take it. +1/+1 counter if it's a mount. I do think this card is just awesome. Probably the best green common, and even better if you have mounts. So let's take Throw from the Saddle here. And moving on, we have this pack. Savage Smash is a good fight spell, but not interested in it just because it's on the splash. Bovine Intervention is a very, very bad removal spell. Do not take this card. Maybe it's a good sideboard card, like in Sealed, but just killing something and giving something to your opponent has historically never been good in Limited. So Bovine Intervention is not something I'm interested in. There's an Ariet's Lullaby, but I think I'm just going to take Spinewoods Paladin. It's just another large beatdown of a creature. And so I'm going to take that over the Lullaby. And move on. Ooh, another Stable Master. Very, very happy about that. I do think I want it over the Trained Erinx or the Giant Beaver. Form a Posse is kind of interesting as an X splash card, just because we have so much ramp. Satoru is also great. It's a 2-mana 2/3 menace creature, and then whenever you basically play plot spells, you draw a card. Like, for 2 mana, that's awesome. Marauding Sphinx is also awesome. 5 mana 3/5 for a Flying Vigilance Ward 2. It's possible we should have been blue-green. I feel like that might have been the seat that we needed to be, but I think, look, we still have more than enough playables. Happy enough with the Stable Master out of that pack. Here we have kind of a miss of a pack. Wow, we have some good black commons though. Vault Plunderer and Consuming Ashes. Can't really play either of those cards. I'll take the Pixie in case I want to pick something up, but it's pretty unlikely that I want to play the Pixie. And here I'll take the Trained Erinx. It's just a solid 2-mana, aggressively slanted mount creature. So very, very happy with that. And then we have this pack. Rise of the Varmints. Cactus Folk Sure Shot. This card is awesome. I don't think it's worth splashing. Rise of the Varmints, I think, is a really, really cool payoff card if you are drafting the green-black self-mill deck, but I don't think it's good in green-white. What do I take here? I don't know. I'm going to take the Sure Shot. I don't even think I should be splashing that card. I'm just taking cards. I'll take a Cactarantula. Probably not playing that either. Yeah, honestly, this pack was actually a bit of a miss, but we still ended up with enough playables, so it's okay. Like I said before, I do think the correct color combination was blue-green. But it is what it is. I'll take a Badlands Revival in case we feel like we want to splash that card. I just feel like we have enough playables to just be straight green-white, so I don't think there's any reason to be black-white, or to splash black necessarily. Take the Fall being this late, I think, is criminally wrong. I do think this card is quite good. The reason being is the blue wants to do multiple things, right? One of them is play multiple spells in one turn. This is a cantrip that allows you to play multiple spells in one turn. Trained Erinx, by the way, awesome here. And then additionally, it'll let you commit a crime for cheap for 1 mana, and it cycles. So I think Take the Fall is going to end up being one of the best blue commons in the set. So I feel like if you see Take the Fall, you should take it reasonably high. I kind of compare it to Birthday Escape. I don't think it's quite as good as Birthday Escape, but I think it's something that you should definitely consider, and you shouldn't really ever cut from your blue decks. All right, what do we have here? I'm just going to put all the green and white cards here and figure out the mana fixing this way. All right, it's a lot of playables. I'm going to cut the Omenport Vigilante just because I don't think I have that many ways to commit a crime. Right? It's like Buried in the Garden. I don't want to use Combat Trick. Steer Clear. So it's like Buried in the Garden and Steer Clear, and I have like 3 ways to commit a crime, and I have a ton of 2s. So I think for that reason, for example, Prairie Dog, and I think Trained Erinx is better in this type of deck. The Hardbristle Bandits and the Stable Masters are also great. Of course, Miriam is also great. So I think given that I have 7 2s in my deck that I'm happy playing, I think I can afford to cut something like that. And because I have 3 mana creatures and a Spinewoods Armadillo, I think I can get away with playing 16 lands. Now remember, this isn't the same as Murders at Karloff Manor, where that was a format where you just always wanted 17 lands, if not more, just because you have all those disguise creatures. I don't know that there's as many mana sinks in this format, so I don't know that it's actually absolutely necessary to play 17 lands every time. Look, we have double Stable Master and a Bandit as well. So I think we can cut the Holy Cow. It is cool that you can blink it. Oh, this is Beastbond Outcaster is a nice card to blink with the Fortune. If you have another 4-power creature in play, that's really nice. You can also saddle the Rambling Possum, attack, and then play the Beastbond Outcaster. So yeah, that's really cool. All right, so let's cut Holy Cow. I do think I'm going to try the Beaver here. I just feel like I want a bunch of... Look, the Free Strider Commander can also be 4-mana things to do with our mana creatures, which is really good. All right, we need to cut 1 card from this deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's some cards here that I'm definitely going to just want to try just because I haven't played. For example, like I want to see how good Steer Clear is with all the mounts. Like, is it awesome? Is it bad? We'll see. Take up the Shield. I mean, this is just a great combat trick. Throw from the Saddle is going to be fantastic. We already know that. Buried in the Garden is going to be great. I want to try Reach for the Sky, right? I want to try this card because I'm aggressive. I want to see how good this card is. And it's one of like 3 combat tricks that we have. And then Betrayal at the Vault. We have a lot of very beefy creatures. So for 6 mana, I think oftentimes we're going to just have it's going to be like 6 mana, deal 5 damage or 4 damage to 2 things, right? The only problem with this card is that you do need to make like you can only really do it when your opponent is like tapped out almost. So this is pretty risky. But with all the ramp stuff we have, I think it's nice to have a good top end card, so I do want to try that. So I think 4 or 5, we'll just cut 1 creature, and it's probably going to be the Drover Grizzly. I think this is just the most replaceable. I know it's a mount, but it's the most replaceable of the mounts that we have. So let's go ahead and cut that and give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. All right, draft number 1. Green-white mount things. I wish I took the Wily thing. Wily Ann, Wily Duke. I don't remember. I forgot the name. All right. This is a great hand. 2 plains and a forest. Hard Bristle Bandit, Miriam, Free Strider Commando, and Fortune. So it's kind of a beating of a hand. Curious what I want to do. Do I want to go... Yeah, it's actually interesting. I can either go turn 2 Hard Bristle Bandit into turn 3 plot Freestyle Commando, or I can play just try to get a more beatdown start into Miriam into Fortune. A lot of it, of course, will just depend on what they do. Wow. Wow, that's insane. Hold on. A lot of options here. We can go Bandit, or we can go Trained Erranks and start trying to put counters on things. I'm going to just lead with the Bandit. If I was on the play, I might have looked to be more aggressive here. But the Bandit does allow us to double spell next turn because we can go Train to Erranks plus Miriam, which I think is pretty nice. Just allows us to put a lot of power and toughness on the battlefield. Double Blood Hustler. Are they? Oh my gosh. If they played a desert there, that would have been so bad. Oh man. They're stuck on 2 lands. So what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I can either plot Spinewood's Paladin, or I can just play 2 things this turn. I think I want to play 2 things this turn. Mostly because this is better against like a singular removal spell. So let's go with that here. Next turn, we can just play Spinewood's Paladin. If they have I mean, double Blood Hustler is a big game, right? This can threaten to just take over the game. So that is definitely very, very scary for us. I mean, you know a crime's about to be committed, and they drew land number 3. Whew. Green-white also, not that much removal. All right, opponent, let's make a play. Come on, Walter. Hey, look, they cast a spell. All right. Oh, I guess they were deciding whether or not to kill Miriam or the other thing. Huh. Do I want to trade with Blood Hustler? Not really. Well, it is. They are kind of scary. Yeah. They're kind of scary. I don't think I need the counters that much. Like, I'm just gonna play Spinewood's Paladin, rather. And getting these creatures off the board seems very nice. Shoot the Sheriff! Oh my gosh. Alright. Let's play Stable Master. And do I want to play Fortune, or do I want to play something that hits harder? Let's go Stable Master. And I'll play the Possum. And we don't need to saddle right now. Ooh, look at this. No more Secret Reach. Look at that thing. Stable Master. Yeah, I need to figure out some cool combos with like the bounce effect with this. So next turn we have access, like Stable Master will help us cast Fortune, and then we can also plot the commando. So we can set up a 5/5 and a 2/4, which is pretty nice. We'll just take this. I mean, but they have a really great control deck here. Tyrant Scorn, shoot the Sheriff. I mean, with the Blood Hustlers, that does a lot of work. I mean, this thing's going to get out of hand. I'm glad that I blocked the other one. All right, unfortunate accident. Yeah, that's a 4/4. Oh, man. Their deck is pretty sweet. Come on, removal spell. That is a removal spell, but it is not enough, right? It's a 3/5, so that is not enough. So let's add white. Let's play Fortune. Scry some lands to the bottom. Oh, geez. Let's keep those. All right. And then let's plot this. Let's pass. So next turn, we can play Freestrider Commando as a 5/5. And then we can play Betrayal at the Vault. We have 6 mana to kill 2 things potentially. Wow, Blood Hustler is a 5/5 though. Holy cow. I am curious what they're going to do next turn. I really want them to just tap out and play another creature. Like, is your deck really 15 removal spells and 3 creatures? Okay, that's great. That is great. Okay. Can they do something for 1 black? That's what I'm scared about. I don't know. There's Skullduggery. There is Skullduggery. Enters battlefield with 2 flow if it wasn't cast or no mana was spent to cast it. So I'm probably not going to want to flicker that. Attacking with this doesn't do much. Yeah, I guess attacking doesn't do much. I guess I just kind of... here's the thing. Am I supposed to wait? I'm not sure. Huh. Let's see. +1, plus... All right. I'm just going to go for the Betrayal here. Oh, I need to... See? That's the first time I actually tried casting this thing. So, anyways. All right. Look, we're not going to play perfectly early, all right? This is the road to rank 1. The road to rank 1. We are climbing this road. This is a wonderful road. A wonderful road indeed. All right. Let's saddle this, I guess. Oh, it doesn't need to deal combat damage. Look at all. Reading is hard. Reading is most certainly difficult. And I don't want to blink it. Oh, wait. Oh, I draw a card. Oh my gosh. This is so bad. Okay, that was horrible. Oh my gosh. How many mistakes can one person make in one turn? Oh God. Okay. Hey, this is just us learning, all right? This is just us learning. This is just us learning. That's all I'm going to say. That is all I am going to say. All right. I didn't saddle it just because I wanted the 7/7 reach card. I mean, they're at 7. We should be pretty good here. Oh. Okay. So, but they have to pay 3 mana. Are they going to... And then I guess they're going to play Intimidation Campaign. Which, by the way, is much worse than Disinformation Campaign. I think it can be still pretty cool in like a blue-black crime deck, but it's not nearly as good. If they attack me, they die. Wow. Okay. So green... Target this. Oh, we'll get the mana back. All right. Got it. Got it. Through some not ideal play. But that 6 mana removal spell was awesome. It killed 2 things. So that is the upside, right? The question is just how often are you going to pull it off? Because whenever you get blown out, if your opponent ever kills your creature in response to that 6 mana bite spell, instant speed bite spell, you just lose. Right? If they just bounce your creature or whatever. So... It's high risk, high reward. High risk, high reward. Man, we played that game poorly. All right, let's take a look at this hand. 4 forests, and the first thing we can do is plot on turn 4. That will not do. I will keep this hand, though. I think I can put the commando on the bottom just because I can go turn 2 Airings, turn 3 Possum, turn 4 plot Spinewoods Paladin. And I think that's better. Actually, maybe it's the Paladin. Just because if I don't draw land, I just want to play the Commando. Yeah. They're both fine. The thing is, there's just so many like, for 4 mana, if you're green, you can do 3 things. You can plot Free Strider Commando, you can plot Spinewood Paladin, or you can play the River Beaver. And they're all fine. So that's why I don't put as high of a priority on these cards. And that's why, right now at least, I favored the Free Strider Commando over the other green creatures because you can play this on 3. Whereas the others, like, you need to play them on 4. Ooh, that card is fantastic. Outcast a Greenblade. I feel like I probably should have just taken this card, to be honest. I should have just taken this over that green-white 2-drop. To be honest, but it is what it is. All right, let's play the Possum. Saddle. All right, we're saddling correctly this time. Scry? That's good. I do like a Beastbun Outcaster. Oh, a 3/4. What did they draft? What is this? All right. Huh. So I think, I mean, alternatively, I can just attack with both to see if they block and then try to take up the shield. No, I kind of want to just play Beast. Like, I want to hit for 4 and then play this and draw a card. Is that bad? It seems pretty good. Okay, draw a card. Smack him for 1. All right. Oh my gosh, our opponent went mega deep. Wait, they're passing and not doing any... Okay. All right. All right. All right, friend. We're just going to pass. Oh. You don't have 7 cards in hand with all these colors and have absolutely nothing you can do, right? Come on. Come on. That isn't... Oh, I guess with deserts it's not that bad. Wow, they literally... Oh, no, that's not even a desert. They just took every dual land that they saw. I am curious to see what the desert payoffs are. They certainly have all the deserts. They're plotting something? Draw 3? Holy dirtle. They went maximum dirtle here. We don't really have a great attack, so I'm just going to play all my stuff. I mean, we're just going to go wide. Now, if they have a sweeper, they have a sweeper, right? But... they have so many cards in hand. Okay. All right, we need to end the game quick. More things are being plotted. A loan shark. All right. Spinewood's Paladin. We have access to, so 3. Okay, so let's I could return this to my hand. I'm not sure if that's good. Huh. 3. I'll decline for now. I feel like I just want stuff on the battlefield, but... All right, well, they certainly are going to have a combat trick here. Okay, let's make this indestructible. And they take 4. And... Huh. This is actually interesting. Like, do I want to plot this? Or do I want to run out the possum? Because this just means that I can attack immediately. Which I think is pretty good. Whereas with this one, it comes into play next turn, but I can't attack with it that turn. Well, I didn't mean... Wait. Man! I wanted to tap this to do this so I could take up the shield. Oh, well. Their deck is sweet. This is what the blue-green deck's trying to do. I mean, I think their deck's probably on the slow... Oh, Steer Clear. Steer Clear is phenomenal. So this has been saddled. Wait, how can you tell if something's been saddled? Okay, I think it's this glowy thing. All right. All right, let's saddle you as well. All right. Stop cold. Yep, that's pretty good. Can I saddle again? Because, like, I would love to be able to bounce this, but I don't think I can. Decline that. I will bounce this. They're tapped out, right? Yeah, this is fantastic. Okay. Yep. All right. So we want to go take up the shield and steer clear the loan shark and take up the shield here. Yeah. Okay, so take up the shield here. Steer clear the loan shark. Okay. And then play this. Draw a card. Play a land. And I can saddle again, but that doesn't do anything. All right. Hey, our combat tricks were great there. They're going to draw 3 cards here, but we have a lot of offense here. Honest Rutstein to get something sweet back. Okay, sure. But we are out of all of our combat tricks, right? We are out of all of our combat tricks. This thing is ginormous. It's a 5/6. The question is, do we have enough to stop them? I mean, they should have just cast this before doing all this other nonsense, but... Oh, double Outcaster Greenblade. Wow. How can I get this out cold off? Yeah, it's one of those things where I think they've drawn too many cards, so it might be really difficult to be able to come back from this spot, but we're going to fight the good fight here. So let's see. What happens if we throw from the saddle the Rutstein and attack with everything? 3, 4... Oh, they die. Haha. Let's see. All right. And then they block. Yeah, okay. Whew. They had a sweet deck, though. Just a little too much dirtling, I'm going to say. Just a little bit too much dirtling. But the Green Blades with all these deserts were awesome. They had some power. But the important thing when you draft decks like that is still... you still have to put a priority on cheap, efficient removal spells. Just so that, like, when you're playing double Plan the Heist, you just want to make sure you have a lot of cheap interaction and removal so that you can kind of stay in the game. Outlaw Medic is a great card, too, as just a nice way to block stuff. But Beastbond Outcaster was awesome there. Drew us multiple cards. Was really, really nice with, you know, some of the other things that return stuff to our hand. So this hand isn't ideal just because... you know, we need we need a big creature here, but I don't think we can mulligan, you know, 3 lands or 4 lands and 3 creatures. All right, this doesn't have vigilance. I definitely want to play Prairie Dog here, and let's plot this. I kind of don't want to play this unless I can draw a card, but we'll see. Because honestly, I can just pass. Oh, wait. Yeah. I can pass and play Prairie Dog and just put 2 counters on Prairie Dog, right? If I don't draw anything. Yeah. If I don't draw anything, isn't that the play? And then I play this on the following turn, right? So until end of turn, if you put 1 or more counters on a creature control. Okay, so let's... I'm not... Is this... Yeah, okay. What the heck? What kind of 2-drop is this? Oh, what kind of 5-drop is this? Unreal. Unreal. They just played real... That's the problem with green, by the way. And it's going to be super frustrating. But green has an obscene number of bombs. An obscene number of bombs. All right. Railway Brawler, 5 mana, 5/5, reach trample. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is its power. Does that seem reasonable to you? Does not to me. Let's see. Hold on. I think there's a way I can make this work. Full control. Does this get a counter at the beginning of my end step and then I betrayal? I believe that's how that works. So I'm not going to attack. Although I think I probably could have. All right. And then... Oh, that was good. Go Prairie Dog. Okay, look, Betrayal at the Vault has been ridiculous. But then again, we're looking at a 2-mana 5/5. What the heck? A 2-mana 5/5? Okay, it died, but I mean, it did its job, right? That was awesome. From a 2-drop? That is ridiculous. This could almost be a rare. This could almost be a rare. Man, that card is awesome. Gonna attack here. Oh, what is this? A steer clear? No. All right. Rambling Possum. And then we have Reach for the Sky available. We have the combo with Beastbond Outcaster plus Rambling Possum if we want. But I think, depending on what they play, I could also just attack. Oh, Reach for the Sky. Oh, Cactarantula. That card's good. When it becomes a target, they draw a card. Whoo! Was that good against Cactarantula? Okay. Oh, we can play this. Intrepid Stablemaster. Let's go. All right. All right. Our Trick's doing stuff. Our Trick's doing stuff. There's some synergies here. Oh, Rictus Robber is awesome, but not as awesome when you just play it as a 4/3, of course. Yeah, certainly just playing this. All right, let's bounce the Outcaster again. Whoo! Getting us value. Steer clear? Seems pretty good here. I'll keep it. All right. Giving some beatdowns. Giving some beatdowns. All of our tricks being very, very relevant. Now remember, this is still early on. It's still really hard to get a gauge for what's actually good or bad. But you can at least identify cards that are overperformers or underperformers. The 6-mana removal spell has been awesome. I still feel like as you move up in the rankings and good players, you know, when they have a lot of good removal, like I have to actually keep it, like think about what good instant speed removal exists. Like for example, against black or blue, it's really rough. But obviously like the Prairie Dog, it looks good and it's better than that. This is like a B+ level card. This card is incredible. I am a Prairie Dog enjoyer. Raven of Fell Omens, okay? I mean, I do feel like, because we're not plotting just yet, I just feel like anytime you can play Hard Bristle Bandit turn... Come on! Dude! Really? Come on. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say, come on. All right, let's double spell this turn. Like, that's turn 3 natural Marchesa. Get out of here. Get out of here. Well, into the desert. All right, who stacked our opponent's deck? I need to know. I need to know. Who on the Arena team stacked their deck? This is not... Come on. This is not reasonable. What is this? My green-white draft deck running into a Grixis Precon deck here? Come on. right, so next turn we can plot. We can't plot multiple things. I mean, they're probably killing the prairie dog too. Well, we'll see what happens. So they have a 3/4, so we can't really attack through that either. Yeah, just can't attack, sadly. Until your end step, if you haven't cast a spell. Okay. I mean, next turn we have to cast a spell, so. You know what's actually interesting is I can activate this ability to get an extra counter on this. Okay, it wasn't that interesting. It's pretty good. All right, what do we have? We have access to 5 mana here. Can't really attack. I certainly want to play my 5/5. So let's do that. And then, do I want to play this? Yeah. Okay, and then we'll play this. I mean, we're just playing a bunch of creatures, but right now we just can't attack into them. We need to draw one of our spells, our tricks. But I will say, just on rate, green and white just has lots of fantastic creatures. Spring Splasher is a nice way for the opponent to commit a crime if they want. Oh, Blood Hustler too. Seeing this makes me want to draft the crime deck. Now, they're going to attack me, and I'm just going to block in a way to kill the Splasher. I'm going to block with the Prairie Dog. Look at this. Look at all these triggers. This is insane. But they are losing a Spring Splasher. But, I mean, if you think about it, where they're just, like, spending 3 mana to just look at the top 2 cards and get all these triggers, it's still fine for them, right? Ooh, they got rid of a Spring Splasher. Right? They can't really kill anything. Oh, they have a trick? We'll see. Nope. Okay. All right, so we're at 17. We have access to 6 mana next turn. Wow. We have lots of pretty cool things we can... So the Forsaken Miner can't block, so that's a thing. I think the Commando can attack. They do have 3 mana available, but... This is kind of rough, though. Like, I kind of want to grow this Prairie Dog, but oh my gosh, all these counters. What did they copy? They copied Prairie Dog? Why wouldn't you want to copy a 3/3? Okay. Oh, I guess they just wanted the lifelink, sure. All right. All right, so this is a big turn. We have access to 6 mana. Do I care about getting an extra counter on the Prairie Dog? Or do I want to just add another 5/4 to the battlefield and just play it this turn? They're at 25 life. Also, it might be better to just plot this one, just because it's a 5/5 instead of a 5/4. Because I don't think my life total is something that I'm too concerned about. Yeah. I think I'd rather put a counter on Prairie Dog. I think I'd rather put a counter on Prairie Dog instead of playing a Stable Master at this point. So that's what we're going to go with, just because now I can attack with the Prairie Dog. All right, so they're not committing crimes here, but they're definitely building up a pretty nice board. It's kind of, again, it's still kind of awkward. Oh, that is incredible. Okay. Throw from the saddle is great. They do have a mana available. So I do have to be concerned about Skullduggery, but I can't play around that anyways. Because if they Skullduggery this creature, one blue. Yeah, let's just go for the Trained Airings here. You don't have it. You don't have it. They have it. Look at all these triggers. I had to open my mouth and say Skullduggery. Oh well. Certainly attacking with this. And then let's just play a Spineswood Paladin. That was really bad for us. That Skullduggery was incredible. I mean, they didn't get to draw the extra card, but it was a 2-for-1. Blood Hustler. And then remember, they can actually activate... Oh, Desert. Whew, ugh. Hey, I'm going to just say this. Good for you, opponent. Very sweet deck. I don't appreciate the turn 3 Marchesa, but the Blood Hustlers with the rate... Like, when you get this going against a deck that's not super fast, it's awesome. And I just don't see myself being able to fight through all of this. But we'll see. Like, all I can do is just attack with my creatures and just hope for the best. And hope they don't have another commit crime spell. Yeah, it's just... It is what it... This is what it is. Like... They drew another Skullduggery? Okay. All right, you know what? I'm done. All right. Good beats. Good beats. Definitely something that I want to do, though. The commit a crime nonsense. Like, every time they cast a spell, like, look what happened there. They cast one spell. They put 2 +1/+1 counters on their creatures, drained me for 2, and drew a card. The only thing, though, is a lot of those creatures... That's the thing. Right now, everybody's trying to do all the cool stuff. Later on, when people figure out how to draft like good, streamlined, aggressive decks, that's when stuff like that becomes not as good. For example, the Raven, right? Like if you're playing against, I don't know, let's say the red-white mercenary deck is super aggressive or red-black, then you don't have time necessarily to set all of that up because you're playing a bunch of 2-mana 1/1s and 2-mana 1/2s. So I'm just curious to see, what is the speed of the format? If it's slow, then committing crimes is definitely what you want to do all the time. If it's fast, is this good enough? Against me, definitely good enough. 2 plains, 2 forests, a rambling possum, reach for this guy, an armadillo. It's not ideal, but I think I'm just going to keep this. I don't have a 2-drop, which is unfortunate. But we'll see what happens. Discerning Peddler. All right, so we're playing against a potential aggressive deck here. Yeah, very, very slow start from us. We drew, we kept 4 lands, and we drew, did we keep 4 lands? I know we drew back-to-back lands. Wow. They're hitting us very hard. Rambling Possum for us. Hopefully, against red-black, I'm not really expecting this to live. Man. All right. Look, I kept a slow hand. I mean, this is just my fault. I mean, granted, we drew 4 lands in a row. We literally drew 4 lands in a row, so we kept 4 lands. Possum, Reach for the Sky, and Armadillo, and drew Plains, Plains, Forest, Forest. And our opponent played Rakdos. All right. Five lands in a row. All right. That's how you're going to be? This is what's going to happen? We even have a really good curve. It's okay. Maybe I should have mulliganed. I just felt like 4 lands. You know, I got a 3-drop, a 4-drop, and a 6-drop. It's probably fine, but that is part of Magic the Gathering. It does happen. All right. What do we have here? Opponents on the play. We have the Commando if we draw a land. I'll keep this. Hopefully we can draw Plains. Or a green 2-drop or a land. All right, great. We drew a land. Woo! Trained Airings turn 2 from the opponent. Ooh, that's interesting. I'll go Trained Airings as well. I considered Prairie Dog. I just don't see myself being able to put counters on this anytime soon. Thunder Lasso, okay. Sure. That doesn't do that much right now. I mean, it does a fair amount of damage, but I feel like I need to play the Fortune here, just to try to find a land. Ugh, that's awkward. Can we get away with both? I mean, next turn we do still have a play in Throw from the Saddle or Commando or something like that, so I guess we keep this. And then I'll keep this back. This is first strike when it's saddled. All right. This is fine. So I do need to note that the Fortune ability is it always happens. So for Throw from the Saddle, ooh, Prosperity Tycoon is fantastic. For Throw from the Saddle, I should target my Trained Airings. Right, so, yep, they get to scry, blah, blah, blah. I think we should be okay, though, because next turn we can Throw from the Saddle on the Trained Airings. And then on the following turn, we'll have Buried in the Garden. So that'll allow us to just, like, try to stabilize here. What does this do? Sack a token. It gains indestructible until end of turn. This can turn this into a 5/3. All right. I mean, I can attack with Fortune and then... Yeah, but I don't care about the scry that much. If they want to spend their turn to lasso, then so be it. They can tap down my Airings. Yeah, let's just attack. I wonder what I should bury in the garden. Oh, probably this thing. What? How am I? What is this? Create a token that's copy of target token you control that entered the battle. Oh my gosh. All right. Geez, we're at 3 life. All right, how important is it for us to... Like, I can blink the trained Erinks as well. For me to... I feel like it's pretty important for me to scry and try to hit a land to play Betrayal at the Vault. So I'm going to lose a counter on the Erinks, but I think it's worth it. Let's put this on the bottom, and let's keep the land on top. I mean, I could very well just be dead here. But I'm at 3. They have a lasso. They have 2 cards in hand. You know, very precarious spot to be in here. If they equip their Tycoon and tap down my trained Erinks, that just eats my fortune, which is pretty rough. I mean, it's possible that I just play a bunch of creatures next turn, right? Like, I can just go Prairie Dog plus Giant Beaver. I will say the green-white deck, I mean, the whole mounting thing, I just feel like the other colors are just doing cooler things. Whereas the green-white deck, it's like, you play a mount creature, and it's like, all right, it's just another creature. Right? You're not doing much beyond that, so... We'll see. It's just like, on rate, these cards are good, but if like this... I don't know. I gotta keep playing. I gotta keep playing. Form a posse. Wow, okay. All right, we're hoping to survive here. We can do the same play with Betrayal at the Vault end of turn with Prairie Dog, and that gains me a bunch of life if I can survive. Our opponent is down to 1 card, though. If this card is just like anything relevant, we're probably dead. But if it's not, we might have a chance. We might have a chance. But this is the key turn. If I can untap here, that'll be fantastic. If I can untap here, that'll be great. The problem is I can't really kill Prosperity Tycoon. They're just looking at what happens if they attack with the Tycoon. They're probably going to tap like maybe my trained Erinks and then force my Beaver to trade with a token, which is still very good. This Prosperity Tycoon is awesome. I mean, 4 mana for a 4/2 that makes a 1/1 token that makes this really hard to block in an aggressive deck is very good. And this Thunder Lasso has also been doing some work, especially given that we're at 3 life. All right. Tycoon getting in there. So one of my gigantic creatures is going to trade with a 1/1. I hope they trade. I hope they tap my Beaver. I'm just going to block with my trained Erinks. So I hope they don't tap with my trained Erinks. Yeah, what they needed to do was tap my trained Erinks and force a chump block with either the Prairie Dog or the Beaver. But I mean, look, this is still a fantastic exchange for them. Hopefully they... like, is this just like a random creature? Oh, it is not just a random creature. It's a 7/7. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. Okay. I mean, I can kill it. No, I can't. Man, this is brutal. Oh, I can attack with the Giant Beaver. Wait, do I have a lethal attack here? I don't think I do. What if I attack with the Giant Beaver and then they block here? And then I use Betrayal at the Vault to kill this and this? No. Yeah. To kill this and this. Because what I do is I attack. If they block with the elemental, end of turn, I wait till I get a counter on the dog, and then I gain a bunch of life. They might just block with a 1/1, which is also fine. But yeah, we will see what they do. It is pretty cool that with the Prairie Dog, you can wait till the end of your turn and then still untap and do some stuff. Yeah. No, this was a good attack regardless of what they do. Because even if they block with the 1/1 here, I can still kill Tycoon and the 1/1 here. All right, we're at 9. Betrayal at the Vault has won us like every single game. Oh, man. How does this work? Okay. So it's just a 7/7. It doesn't grow based on like added lands. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Oh well. They drew Throw from the Saddle to give this, to make it exactly lethal. Man. All right. Well, we tried our best. We ran into some pretty sweet stuff. The murder deck was nice. This is obviously not the ideal start to our journey here, but I think it's okay. Kind of looking back at the draft, I do think that white was probably not super open. We saw the Fortune and the Buried in the Garden and just kind of moved in. Particularly the Buried in the Garden. Green was definitely very open, but I feel like the correct color combination to be in here in this draft was probably blue-green. What else did we learn? Well, I did learn that this card, the Betrayal at the Vault, was amazing for us. I did like Rambling Possum a lot, and it had some nice synergies with, if you can find even a couple of ETB effects, it just gives you added value because this card doesn't ask a lot from you, right? It's a 3-mana 3/3 that when it attacks for a cheap saddle cost, it hits as a 4/5, which is really, really nice. Spineswood Paladin was just okay. Again, like I said, there's just kind of a glut at, look at this. Look at all these green commons. 3-mana 3, it's a 4-mana 5/5, it's a 4-mana 4/4, and a 4-mana 5/4 Trampler. They're all kind of the same thing. So just don't prioritize these cards very highly because in any given draft, you're just going to end up with like 3 or 4 copies of these cards just for free, more or less. So I would not focus on these cards and really just focus on interaction in Throw from the Saddle, which is insane. I actually misread this card. I thought this only gave +1/+1 when you have a mount. But this is a 2-mana sorcery speed that gives +1/+1, even if it's not a mount, and then it puts a counter if it is a mount. So this is probably just the best green common. It's a Rabid Bite, which is usually the best green common, that pumps your creature or puts a counter. So this card is incredible. I think if you're just green, you should just take as many copies of this as you can. And then the Hard Bristle Bandit is also just fine because you have all of these other cards. For white, Prairie Dog, absolutely ridiculous. Fortune is a must ability, so just know that. If you use a... Don't cast Reach for the Sky like I did on Fortune. That's something... I make the mistakes, so you don't. All right? And Beastbound Outcaster was also great. But I'm looking forward to this. My plan is to jam a ton of drafts, try a bunch of different archetypes. And in this particular draft, we tried the green-white deck. The Prairie Dog was amazing. Betrayal at the Vault was awesome. I think that's the best it's going to be, but we'll see. I guess given how good it was for me in this draft, I'll still try to take it and see what happens. But remember, this costs 6 mana, and when you get blown out by this, as good as it feels when you resolve this, it's going to feel equally bad when your opponent kills your creature in response. But that'll be it here for today's draft. Sadly, went just 3-3, but it was the first draft, first of many. I plan to play so much of this format. It's going to be awesome. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to hit the like or subscribe button for more daily videos just like this. If you've enjoyed the content and wanted to support the channel in another way, I do have a Patreon channel that you can check out. The link to the Patreon is in the description below. Shout out to all the current patrons. Really do appreciate your support. It really does make it so that I can live my dream of making Magic content for a living. That is incredible. That's ridiculous, right? But that is the world we live in today. So thank you so much for watching. Many more drafts to come. Now, this was a bonus draft video, so I know we didn't do super well, but look, this is a 2-for-1, right? I'm planning on releasing this in the afternoon. Maybe I might even do this given that I'm going to be drafting a bunch anyways. I might be doing a couple of 2-a-days. Let me know what you think. Do you enjoy 2-a-days? Is that too much content? But I'm planning on doing that at least for the first couple of days of the format if I can afford to do so given my schedule. But this one is going to be the second video to follow the Cube video that came out earlier today. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon in the next draft.